you call it a simulation, and there's other ways to describe it, but we all feel there is a grid. And as you say, when we move through these layers of frequency and come higher up, it is my belief that this grid, this simulation, will dissolve. And I don't know how, but it will dissolve, and we will actually experience what you might call prime reality, whatever that is. And as you say, infinity in all of its glory and beauty. So today, people are become, through their spiritual practices, but also through their practical deeds every day. A lot of people, millions now, are looking for ways to make that happen in their own lives. And it is as much inner work as it is becoming self-sufficient, independent, reconnecting with what we perceive to be nature anyways, because it harmonizes us. At least it does it to me. It harmonizes me with the Great Spirit. Do you think that this reharmonization with nature as we perceive it, and the self-sufficient movement, people becoming, going back to more simpler ways of living and community and family and local groups, do you think that this is a or the path? And do you see that being a viable solution for a future moving forward?
I think that this simulation is what the Gnostics called back in the 400 AD and before in Egypt, and the writings have been found in Nag Hammadi in Egypt, about 80 miles north of Luxor, in 1945 in an earthen jar, which confirmed this. They believed that they talked about what they called a bad copy, that this world was a bad copy of prime reality. And when you read those texts and bring them into the current world, the modern world, they were describing a simulation. That's what they were describing. And so for me, this is what has basically happened. You have a prime reality, or let's put it another way. You have a website. You take a copy of the website. Now you've got a copy of the original website. The original website goes on existing as it always has, in the form that it always has. But now you have a copy, and you can start changing it. You can start changing it so it becomes less and less like the original website. And what I feel, having looked at this in so much detail over so long, is that a copy of prime reality was taken. It's like a digital copy, imagine that. And so prime reality continues to exist. And in a much more higher frequency, high dimensional way. But this is, or was originally, a copy of it. And what they're doing is they're changing the copy. This is why they're changing the atmosphere. They're changing everything more and more. And so sometimes when people have near-death experiences, they say that they experience an earth, which is kind of like this one, but totally different. All the colors are more vibrant. People are happy. People are joyous. And so I do think that what's happened is that a simulated copy of prime reality, not the entirety of prime reality, but just one section of it, has been overlaid, and that humans have been tuned into it. So the manipulation of the human form has tuned us in to the bad copy. And it literally is, going back to what I said earlier, symbolically, well, very close to literally, they have manipulated us to put a headset on for a virtual reality game. So imagine you're standing in prime reality and you've got a headset on. You're not experiencing prime reality. You're experiencing what the headset is feeding you as your reality, as your information of who you are, where you are, etc. That's what's happening, because this This simulation is not, it's not a physical construct. It's a information source. It's like a field of information, which we're constantly not just downloading, but interacting with, like an interactive cosmic Wi-Fi. And so if you go through your whole life with a headset on and never take it off, then the headset information becomes your reality. That's basically what's happening. And the body, the five senses, what we, touch, see, etc., is an expression of the simulation. It's designed to interact with the simulation. And so the simulation seems so real to us because we're actually in a, quote, body that is part of the simulation. And so the answer is to go from the body to consciousness, which is potentially beyond the simulation. And so when you do, you start tapping in to prime reality, which is feeding you a different reality to simulated reality. You know, imagine if a mind was in a Wi-Fi field and the Wi-Fi field was feeding it its reality. That's basically what's going on. And we're decoding that reality from waveform, which is what the field is, the simulation field, through the five senses. The five senses take waveform information. They turn it into electrical information, which is fed to the brain, and then the brain decodes that through various parts of the brain that specialize in sight and hearing and taste, smell, etc. And the brain takes that electrical information and it decodes it into holographic information. So this external world that we experience is not external at all. It's all going on in here. And what's, if you like, external is the waveform field, which we are decoding into what seems to be an external world, but is actually not. If you look at a computer in a Wi-Fi field, what it's doing, it's taking information from a radiation field and it's decoding it and putting it onto the screen in a totally different form. That's what we're doing. That's how we decode the matrix. And where is the decoding going on? I'm looking at this screen now of this computer. It's not external to the computer, what I'm looking at. It's internal to the computer. So the computer is decoding the Wi-Fi field from a radiation form into pictures, graphics, words, etc., colors, inside the computer. That's what we're doing. And if you take the Matrix as a example, Matrix movies, when they enter the Matrix, they don't enter it with their bodies, they enter it with their minds. Their bodies stay outside the Matrix, that in their Matrix film symbolism. They put the probe in the back of the neck, actually in the reptilian brain area, and their mind goes into the Matrix, not their body. And I say in the book, I mean, this gets really deep, this bit. I say in the book that, you know, we think that those that believe in any kind of life beyond human, that we incarnate into the body. I say the mind is not in the body is in the mind. It's all mind.
Throughout my awakening journey, my true self, my soul, has been creating very challenging situations in order to push me, step by step, out of the illusion. The only way forward is to get out of the game, out of the illusion, out of the triangle of hell. Will evil succeed to enslave humanity technologically? Or will a critical mass of awakening individuals do the necessary work on an individual basis and stop this total enslavement of humanity? I consciously chose the crystal life spiral, leaving behind the Fibonacci death spiral. There is no government solution. The journey for every individual is unique. The internal preparation is the key. I must remember who I am and then understand what the hell I am doing here on Earth. I include the links to my video, I'm Out of the Matrix. I can be contacted by email at divine.infinite.love8@gmail.com. Infinite love. From millennium slavery to individual sovereignty. In the Orient, in the 20th century, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother discovered and anchored truth consciousness, the supramental consciousness, in the earthly atmosphere. Once well anchored, the new consciousness was ready to move on to the next stage, its popularization and propagation. In the West, in the 21st century, emerged personocratia, the power of the sovereign person to govern oneself. Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga goes beyond individual liberation and embarks upon a collective transformation on earth. Sri Aurobindo synthesized the Eastern and Western ideas of evolution and boldly declared that humans are transitional beings. They're not final. Evolution continues, and humans will be surpassed. This is the future awaiting humanity. This is an unprecedented adventure of consciousness on earth. After Sri Aurobindo's passing, the Mother continued their work, and on February 29, 1956, she brought the supramental consciousness upon earth. One single and sincere look at the present world situation is enough to convince us that it has reached the point of no return. Humanity is heading to a monumental dead end. Let's stop repeating our obsolete ways, which can only bring more suffering. It is time to dream about the next step, the new eidesic species, and modify our actions to facilitate its imminent birth. Our destiny is in our own hands. If we choose to, we can create paradise on earth. Sri Aurobindo and the Mother enabled me to accept that Homo sapiens is a transitory species, and that the divine in me, soul, and in all things, spirit, is currently manifesting the ideal condition on earth for the creation of a new eidesic being. We are in the midst of this pivotal time where the old world is still apparent as the new divine matter grows within our very bodies. I'm out of the game. Like Truman in The Truman Show, I take my bow and leave the world of illusion. This computer simulation to which I have given authority to manage my life. I leave the theater, where I have played time and time again the roles of disciple, daughter, parent, dentist, entrepreneur, citizen. Today, I devote myself fully and without limits to spreading individual sovereignty, the truth consciousness that I have been experiencing for the last 22 years. Infinite